Well, I didn't want to waste the podcast. Ooh, welcome to Bogside Chats, where we're talking everything DFK and keeping it casual. My name is Matty Pesk. As always, I am joined by Franz. Franz, how are we doing tonight?
Doing great. A little sad that there's no more PvP to play, but besides
I know.
Feeling good.
Very good. And as you can see, we are joined by a guest tonight. The host of the tournament that we just had this past weekend, ADFK's own It's Just Crypto. Just welcome back to the pod. How are we doing?
Doing great. Ready to talk more PvP as though this weekend wasn't enough.
I know.
If you're sick of my voice, get over it. Go run around the block or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Tonight we're going to be talking all about the PvP that happened this weekend. This weekend was the open beta. Everybody got access to it. Like I said, the ADFK Guild, led by Just here, held a little tournament. We're going to talk a lot about that. We're going to talk about our thoughts in general on the PvP. And then later on in the show, we're going to revisit the trait tier list that we did. We did this, a couple weeks back when they first told us about the traits. And the traits kind of went live for hunts. We're going to go back to that list and kind of maybe reassess it based on some of the stuff we learned during PvP. But before we get to that, right now we'll go around the horn and one, two sentences, your just general thoughts on the weekend. Start with you, friends.
The game's fun. The game's fun. The game is strategic. You're not going to figure out the perfect way to play in one day and be good. It's going to be ever changing, ever evolving. That was way more than two sentences.
Yeah,
but there it is.
Just
hyper competitive at the top end. That's what I wanted to test. This tournament exceeded my expectations for that, for getting some data and firsthand, observations on what it looks like when people with a lot of assets try hard. It was exciting. It was great. Wow. It was extremely strategic.
That was what I was going to say for my sentence is strategy. Like this game, I think it could very well be a really fun competitive scene because of how deep the strategy goes. And I'm really excited to see it. And right now it's very fun right now. I am so amped for when all the classes, the advanced classes, like everything is active. It is going to be the pirate specifically. It is going to be absolutely insane. It's going to be impossible to kind of predict, I think, what your opponent is doing not impossible, but the options are going to be absolutely endless when all the classes are released. And I'm so excited for that.
Yep. Because we basically had 4 this weekend, and was a meta that came around. There were strategies that, foiled each other and then had advantages otherwise. And that was with 4 classes. And there are 8 more basics coming. Is that right? 12? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
hypothetically, isn't there more?
Well, in
2020. Yeah.
Well, from what we know now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But we had 4 this weekend, basically, that people played.
Mm-hmm. Of the 6 available. That's something we will get into. I'll just give a quick breakdown. Just and the ADFK Guild opened the door for a tournament. It was open. Anybody can join it. We had how many? 27?
29
people participate. The first round was like pool play. Everybody kind of did like round robin. And then the top 8 did a bracket on Sunday. Our own Franz here made it to the final 8. Lost to Mega, right?
The eventual champion.
I was going to say, Mega of the Jewelers Guild eventually ended up being the winner. So you can't feel bad about that loss, right, Franz?
Yeah, I mean, you can make the argument that I came in second place, tied with everyone else that he beat.
Yeah, fair.
It's not for me to say, but
that's how I see it. That's how I see it. So I want to talk a little bit just about kind of like the macro like stuff that we saw. I mean, this was one of the first times we had this like open tournament for anybody who wanted to play. Go, Franz.
Yeah, I was gonna say before we like really get into it, let me do the giveaway announcement.
Yeah, we're gonna do a giveaway. So do that right now. Yeah.
So this weekend, some of you in the chat may know Spaz Vogel Also goes by DFK Elite. He's been streaming a lot lately. I lent him some equipment this weekend, and as a thank you, he sent me a pretty nice hero without me asking for it. So shout out to him. I'm going to give away that hero tonight. Let me put it up on the screen now. So it is an Archer Berserker level 4, ready for that level 5 level up. And it does have a giant Slayer. And then it's also a little added bonus, blacksmithing, double blacksmithing and fire. And it still has a summon left. So you can maybe make a double giant slayer with it. But so we're going to get a little creative with the way that we're doing the giveaway. I'm going to put his YouTube, link that in chat. He's at 63 survivors. If we get him to 70 subscribers, if we get him to 70, I will give that hero away. If we then get him to 75 before the end of the pod, I will throw in a regular atonement crystal, which is
fancy,
pretty
That's
big. So
worth a lot of Giant Slayer heroes.
Yeah,
sure is. So I'm gonna throw that. Let's see. Can I do this? I do not. I do have permission, I think.
Yeah. Did everyone see that?
Yep.
Through the YouTube link. I hope everyone saw that in the chat. So if you haven't, go to DFK Elite's YouTube page, subscribe to him. We get to 70, we're giving away that hero. We get to 75. Is it the same winner? Gets both?
No, 2 separate.
All right, then we'll give away the hero, and then we'll give away an Atonement Crystal on top of that.
Yeah.
So everybody go to his page and subscribe, bump that up to 70, and we'll be giving away some stuff.
Cool. All right, now you can continue with like the meat of the podcast here.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I want to get to some macro stuff about the tournament. So this tournament had 29 people participating, and then we had 8 in the final. I have the numbers for the top 8. Just, do you have the numbers of like the heroes for like the whole general tournament? I don't know if you have those. Like what everyone selected to like participate in. You're muted right now. I don't know if you're trying to talk.
Oh, nope. Sorry. I was subscribing with all of my Gmail accounts.
Oh,
no, I did not do it for the entire.
Okay. That's okay. That's okay.
No, but the top 8, we did a little breakdown at the first, and I posted the graphic and tweeted it. But no,
yeah.
I did not look at the entire thing.
Well, I think I can tell off the top of my head. I know there was only, I think, there were 2 teams, or one team that had a Berserker, that had one Berserker. And then there was one other team with a
There were a couple.
The Seer. There were a couple Seers. But I think there was only, the Sachets team was the only one with a Berserker, I think.
That was my Berserker. He demanded it. First, he wanted to borrow heroes, and I offered him a bunch of good ones, and he demanded the bad ones, so I gave them to him.
Yeah, fair. But for the most part, it was priests, archers, warriors, and knights. And the specific, these are the individual numbers. It was of the top 8, the final 8 teams. It was 3 knights, 6 warriors, 11 archers, and 4 priests. So that means every single team in the top 8 had at least 1 archer. 2 of the teams had 2 archers, and then some other combination of knight, warrior, and priest. So this is what the comment was we were saying before. There are 6 classes available. Pretty much everybody, or at least not, I shouldn't say everybody, but the meta in this competitive tournament was these 4 classes specifically.
Yep,
so
it was a pretty
stats.
Pretty clear divide. If you went more archers and warriors, you were aggro.
Yep.
If you did any supports or knights, you were a little more defensive, though.
Yep.
I mean, putting a knight in your team is not really that defensive, but in this type of environment, it compared to one of the others, yes, it was.
Yep. I used a knight. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think. Well, first,
just that archer.
Those numbers, that's not that surprising, right? Based on what we've seen, archers obviously the strongest DPS right now. I think warrior is a decent
nerfed, but it's still a good strategy to do a single target attack that does a ton of damage to a target of your choice, and it's a good strategy to do lots of damage spread out between all 3 evenly. And the archer is very good at both of those things, and despite being nerfed, it was still the most popular class because doing those 2 things is extremely important.
Yeah, I think I hate to say this out loud. I think there might be another nerf coming. or more nerfs coming for Archer. Or I don't know. Maybe
Really?
maybe
I
not.
don't know.
Oh,
Maybe
I'm
more.
surprised to hear that. I thought the Archer is in a very good place. I made some feedback that I want the channeling tree a little bit buffed, but on the whole, I thought the Archers are in a really good place.
Well, all right. So let me rephrase that. I think the reason
walk that back.
One of the reasons why we're not seeing Seer more often, and we'll talk about Berserker, that's a whole separate topic, but one of the reasons I think we're not seeing Seer is because their hit points just cannot handle. If there's an Archer on the other side, he could do a repeating shot almost right off the bat without even the combo, and he's going to be in danger of dying almost immediately. So either do something to the Seer or nerf the Archer, otherwise that entire class is not going to be competitive. And so that's why I'm saying potentially the Archer might need a nerf. Now, maybe that could be changed with, more classes available, more combinations that I'm not seeing, some combos of the Seer that I haven't thought of yet. But in my mind, the Seer can't play as long as the Archer is as strong as it is right now.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't think that's a problem you can solve for. It just is what it is. Something's going to be the best. It's more a matter of such a narrow metagame when there are other ways to deal damage and people are choosing for them instead of the Archer.
Right.
Like when there are pirates that deal range damage, but they can only hit P1 and P2, then you can kind of hide something in the back like a Seer. And then if the pirate is really good compared to the Archer and people start using it, if the meta game starts shifting around because we have, 10 classes to choose from, 8 classes to choose from, then the Seer is going to pop up and, when it's friendly, when it's okay. It can pop out when it's okay to be a Seer. But right now it's not okay to be a Seer.
Yeah.
You will die and then they will lose the game because they are down a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I mean, that's the only reason why I suggested that. I think you're right. I think in the long run, once we get more variety and more classes, maybe you're right. But at this point right now, the Archer also the table. Like, that's why I think it needs a nerf,
The Seer also, the Seers I was trying to use, and I brought this up a little bit over the weekend. I've been going with the speed Seer build, greater swiftness crystal. Because of that, he moves first in most games. And when you move first, the Artificer doesn't apply on that first turn. So to use that skill, you have to wait till the 7th turn to get that first application. I would like to. So that sounds like more of a me problem.
I'm assuming that's a bug.
Oh no, it's a bug. Yeah.
Okay,
it's only when the Seer is the first to move in the game. I would have liked to see, because that, from turn
that's
1, you get a little bit of boost in health.
That's a big deal. That's
Seer. Yeah. I mean, that's why you select that move to start.
I didn't know that actually. My Seers aren't that quick. They go normally and get their Artificer boost. Because it's extremely important. Yeah. I mean, you're relying on that buffer of, I think my best Seer is a little lower level, but it's like 70 or 80 hit points, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's what you need to
keep alive for
get
that.
your stuff going.
And I'm really excited for, I know, and I think we're going to talk about O'Cool and what he did with the bubbles, but I wanted to see if the bubble strategy works with a standalone Seer, like without the priest. And it was hard to do because I wasn't getting that first bubble application. Like, that's where I was going with the speed Seers. Like, all right, if I can move quick enough, maybe I can make this bubble work, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Once it gets fixed.
I mean, the bubble build is a mystery to me. I saw it. We came in halfway through. We were covering a different match, and then we got a link from Be Easy, I believe, or O'Cool, and a 7,000 hit point bubble when we came in, and the game was over. And but it was exciting. Got to make some good jokes. Got to call him out for being a scam frog.
Yeah, so Cool. If you guys don't know,
then he left.
Big wallet in the game. He had to actually leave in the mid tournament, but he used a priest, a Seer, and then an Archer in the front row, and he built up a bubble on that Archer that ended up being 7,000 hit points because he used the Seer's bubble doubler move, which I forget what it's called, but
Barrier Stone.
Barrier Stone. It doubles the bubble. He had the priest making the bubbles on him, and it just popped into, just continued to grow exponentially until it was at 7,000 hit points. And then the Archer didn't even have to do its moves. It was just basic attacking until it killed the entire team. It was a wild strategy.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I didn't watch the replay. I meant to, but I forgot. I guess I could find it. Maybe not.
No,
Anyways,
but
I
like,
also
yeah.
I also know that I think that was Be Easy's first PvP game or close
Oh,
to
like
it.
ever, like his first time
Yeah.
playing.
So
Yeah,
like I'm not sure that the danger of that happening was apparent until it was too late. So
right.
I'm wondering, if somebody sees, blank priest seer
Right. You
bubble
immediately are like, yeah,
shenanigans loaded in both tier 5s, you're like, okay, I'm going to focus my entire energy on stopping this before it starts.
yeah.
And I wonder if that happened with the new player Be Easy, who has gotten a lot better sense after getting more reps. But that first game, I'm not sure he had that knowledge of what was about to happen to him.
No, yeah, that might have been possible. But also, I do want to mention bubbles in general, because we saw a lot of that strategy, including Mega, the winner of the tournament. He had a priest and was doing bubble priest the entire time. It's something I did. It's something a bunch of the different people had this strategy a couple times. And if the bubbles were there consistently, your priest was moving fast enough, and or you did this bizarre bubble doubler strategy, they're very difficult to beat. There is no kind of hard counter to bubbles right now, other than just damage output. That's kind of the only way to stop it right now. And I have to mention this just because I mentioned it over the weekend. I want to mention it now. The pirates have a bubble buster. Like, they have a move that like stops bubbles. So I feel like, going back to what we were talking about earlier about like, we don't need nerfs right now, we just need more classes. I mean, if you think the bubble meta is like dominating, like there's going to be counters. There's going to be hard counters to it in other classes that come out. So
Maddie, is that, please tell me that move is at least in the first 5 tiers for the pirate.
Yes.
If you're
okay. Yeah,
if
there's
you're
a
sitting here
it's a
talking
bubble.
about a level 10.
No. There's a bubble burster in it's in the first 5. I forget what it's called. I don't know the move it's called, but the pirate has a move that does that.
Okay. Interesting.
But I think what are you guys' thoughts on bubble priest being a pretty decent build here?
I mean, it was great. It was a cohesive strategy, I believe, by Mega. That priest had a lot of agility. It was very quick. It was able to go start off with the bubble before the warrior, who has the speed debuff with his Excalibur.
Oh yeah,
to prevent, because he was relying on whirlwind a lot.
That's a good point.
Basically, every time it was off cooldown, especially when he had the bubble, that was his build. He wanted to spray damage around, get his value. It's so much value to do a whirlwind with Excalibur. If you're able to hit, you have enough stats, and then you don't slow yourself. So that was a cohesive strategy that, I mean, you don't need me to tell you, it worked right.
Yeah, he won the tournament, and that's a good point. The bubbles also, if the bubbles do not pop, it shields from any status effects hitting, including self ones, which is what Whirlwind does. Whirlwind applies a slow to the actual person that does the Whirlwind, but if you have the bubble there, the slow does not get applied. So,
and I think the distinction is it stops status effects that can be cleansed, like slow. It does not stop like exhaust if you do that to yourself, or something like that.
And good point being made by SI here, something I forgot about. But Chrono Purge, and there might be other dispel moves, but Chrono Purge, I think, is the big one, should be removing bubbles. So
I didn't know that.
So that, I mean, talk about giving the seer instant value, right?
There you go. Yeah. I believe Scholar has some dispel as well. But in terms of,
what about the pirate? Pirate have any?
I don't think so. But the seer right now has a dispel move, so that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, think about the fun combos you can do with that. Dispel the bubble and then have the kill shot. Like,
that'd be awesome.
Moments.
Yeah,
sports moments everywhere.
Yeah, it would be interesting. Okay,
we had some esports moments this weekend, boys.
Let me tell you, I want to give a shout out to. I don't think was DFK Degen in the finals, or was he the semifinals? Yes. He was in the finals. Okay.
Yes.
I want to give a shout out to his team that he built. It was one of the most interesting teams in the tournament. All 3 of his heroes had second life. One of them had second life and resurrection. It was wild to see it in action.
Yeah, somebody's got to be Darth Vader. We're all rooting against him. At least I was, anyways. That was the Cinderella against the 1 seed. But no, not really. But it was unfair in a lot of games that I saw.
The heroes that he brought to the table are some of the rarest heroes,
Yes.
or rarest might be the wrong word, but like most unique heroes in the game. A knight with resurrection and second life is absolutely bonkers.
Yes,
a knight to like a tank,
the knight and the priest were both completely insane. The archer was just like a regular legendary archer that had second life.
Yeah, hold on.
Thing to say,
yeah.
But the priest was mythic, had a ton of stats, and had a stun to go with its second life.
Absolutely insane.
I didn't have a lot of hit points. That was the downfall.
Right. But at that point, that's fine. That's fine.
But the knight up front with resurrection and second life was just like an impossible puzzle to solve.
Yeah.
Because you focus fire on a knight who's extremely defensive with a seer that you're not focusing fire on. I'm sorry, priest that you're not focusing fire on. Like, good luck.
Yeah. And I think we'll talk about them. We have complaints maybe about second life. The slappage level has been discussed many times, but I think his team showed that if you have a team with all these transcendent abilities and at least decent stats,
it's a strategy within itself.
Yeah, and I think that Archer is a great example of how you kind of said he's like a run-of-the-mill legendary archer with second life. I mean, he still made it to the finals. I think he had one of the best teams in the tournament, and so I think
he made it to the finals without losing a game, and it was not close.
Yeah, so I mean,
there was a couple close ones to be fair.
I think that just goes to show that like the traits do slap. These high-level transcendence traits are that good.
Well, and something that shout out Tad Effects. He says a lot whenever this conversation gets brought up in our guild chat, just wait until reroll. Because right now we're looking at these like, maybe it doesn't have great stats, but it has these traits.
It's terrifying.
It'll get those great stats. It may take a while and it may take a lot of money, but
when
you have a hero that good, why not?
Yeah, I think sorry, go.
No, also we have officially hit 70 subs for DFK.
Wow, already.
5 more for the additional prize of a regular atonement crystal.
Wait, is there a tier 3? Is there a tier 3?
We'll see if we get to tier 2.
Make tier 3 like 85, like really hard to get to.
Yeah, I'm done giving things away.
No, but I was gonna say he had one of the only. There was obviously I think another notable team was Raph of ADFK Guild. He had his double Giant Slayer Archer that was like picking off people left and right, like with one turn.
It has a name, Maddie.
What is it called?
The Murder Archer.
The Murder Archer. Yeah, we call it the Murder Archer. Very impressive, and I think Giant Slayer has shown its value. I think Last Stand as well, very valuable. What are you guys' thoughts right now on Second Life and Resurrection? This has been a controversial topic. Second Life all by itself, like you can kill the guy pretty easily on that next round. Do you guys think it's overpowered, underpowered, on par with where it should be? Thoughts on Second Life and Resurrection?
Jess?
I think it's close. I think it's a little overpowered. I think the 750 initiative is so massive because there was a couple times where like the knight died and I was like talking and like going off on some tangent and then the knight was going again. I was like, what the hell happened? What kind of exhaustion is this? Like it really mitigates that problem a lot. That was a super buff on the better one I thought already, as opposed to the Resurrection, which did not get a significant buff. In my opinion, it kind of depends on what you're playing against. If you're playing against an archer with multi-shot, it's basically nothing. And then I don't know if you have a guy that can like rapid shot or whatever too. Right. But anyways, it depends. It can be really good, but I don't know. That 750 initiative basically negates so much of the downside. And I thought it was a little egregious after watching it a number of times, but I don't know. But at the same time, it's kind of I I would have liked to see like Mega versus someone like Raph, someone like Franz, like an even matchup, and then
Mhm.
one of them just had a second life to get
Yeah.
more of a gauge, as opposed to having a super attrition
Right.
transcendent skill strategy, because Degen was by far the most defensive build. Basically,
Right.
he was building based on this. He's like, I bet you can't kill me 7 times in this match.
Yeah.
And if you ever slip, and because my guys do damage too, and I kill one of your heroes, it is over, because you cannot catch up against 3-second lives. It is impossible.
Yeah.
Because Tad was getting close, but then he got like one of his guys got a little low. He had to choose between offense and defense and kind of straddle that line, and then he got hit by a good shot, and it was over. It was just not even close.
I actually watched the DFJ G-Gen Tad match, and I thought it was wild because Tad
was doing whatever he wanted.
The damage output that he was
Insane.
doing was absolutely insane.
He
And
just
it still didn't matter. Like,
no, it didn't matter. That was the more frustrating one, because
know.
it was just like he was doing whatever he wanted. The other guys, heroes were just not even close to being competitive, except that they had the strategy of making it so that he had to kill him 7 times, and maybe he could have easily just killed like normally. It's not even a discussion.
Right.
So, like, is that good? Like, and Boland's asking if we should nerf it. I'm like, why did we buff it? We just buffed it with no data.
Here he
That's
is,
my
man.
question.
So I did like 3K damage that fight.
Yeah,
that is
we
insane.
buffed it without seeing it in a competitive environment, as far as I know. I surely didn't, and I was pretty tapped in. And then all of a sudden it got 750 initiative. Like, why that? That's my question to you.
To that point, Just, it was originally a full turn of exhaustion,
Yes.
right?
They both got
So
buffed in between, I think, Creator Weekend 1, or was it the
No, I think it was for this new weekend they did that. Because there were some complaints about it during the
there was like a video of it dying and then dying again because the guy was getting his team thrown into the dumpster. It was like, what do you expect? Like,
exactly.
It's not going to save you. If it saves you, that's a terrible game.
Right.
That's terrible gameplay. It was not like that this weekend.
It shouldn't be an automatic win just because you have this
right. So it got buffed based on that and some lobbying, I think. And and now it's 750 more initiative, and I thought it was pretty egregious this weekend.
Yeah,
like that part in particular.
Yeah, we got Bolon in the chat trying to defend the decision here. I think what we're all thinking is just why go from the full exhaustion to 750 back. I feel like we could have gone a little incremental on that, and probably somewhere in the middle is where it makes the most sense.
I have a totally different perspective on this.
I don't know about that.
I'm saying if we're playing an even match, me and you, I'm warrior archer, you're warrior archer, we're even. And basically we know whoever's hero dies first in this matchup is probably going to lose 90% of the time. You can counter it sometimes, but it depends on the board state, whatever. And then if one of us gets another chance so that they have to kill it a second time, if that's not enough to win the game or be enough advantage to give you a chance because they have to kill it twice, they have to set up the timing and do it, then they have no business winning. Sorry.
I kind of agree with this. I agree with what you're saying, Just. I feel like
on even games, I think it's amazing.
Some of the complaints have been he dies immediately, but it's like, hello, that's still
you had no business winning that game.
That's another turn that guy. Exactly, your opponent has to strategize around that, and even if it is easy to do, it is an
kill your guy basically winning the game, and then they can win it even more. And then, like you already should have.
You weren't going to win even if you didn't have second life.
It was not close.
Like I agree with that. It still requires your opponent to create a new strategy and take another move, even if it is one other move. That might be all you need.
It's more
to
than
win.
one move.
You know what I mean?
Like it's like 300 some damage. It's not really one move. And they get a chance to heal it if they get a turn.
Right.
It's not just like an extra move, but like taxing your opponent another move is an amazing trait. Like, what if there was a trait that says after you kill one of my creatures, if you kill one of my heroes, you have to skip your next turn for whatever hero comes up.
Yeah.
That sounds like an amazing trait.
I'm
It's
in. Yeah.
way better than that, the old Second Life, because they have to kill it, make sure that they get to go before you and do 300 some odd damage, multiple hits before you heal it with a thing. That's a huge deterrent in an even matchup. In a matchup where you're winning a lot, it's not going to do anything for you. I don't think it should.
If you're already losing and you're outmatched, you're going to lose. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think the Second Life should change that. But if you have an exactly even match, this could be a step up that you need. I agree with you.
It's extremely powerful, and I don't really care that it helps somebody who's getting his ass kicked that much.
Exactly. Yeah.
If it's a significant speed bump in an even match, I think that's the best trait in the game.
I mean, which it is. It's designed that way. It's designed
it's the best trait in the game, and then it gained 750.
I know.
Well, yeah, I think the fact that it's the best trade in the game, it should be, but it can't be a game winner, no matter.
Right.
It's about finding that.
Right. I think it was fine where it was. I don't know. The resurrection and the ward is very interesting. I think I'm not as adamant as you are just on that, because I
like that one.
It's harder to pull it off because obviously you come to a battle with a hero with resurrection, that guy is immediately killed target number one. So it's much harder to kind of pull that one off. The resurrection is harder to pull off. So I get the ward. I kind of like the ward on that one because it is harder to actually pull off resurrection. So give it a little reward if you can successfully do it, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. With resurrection, I feel like the times we've talked about, and I think you said a little earlier, like a multi-shot beats it. And I think that's kind of the problem that, like, besides multi-shot, I'm struggling to think of too many moves that beat it. And that's already a move like on a tree that I personally think is a little too overused right now. So now it gives it a little bit more, and not that's a significant added, but I would almost rather see it be a pure barrier of like a certain amount of, a bubble damage, a bubble, right? A pure barrier bubble. Right. So that kind of like any class has the ability to break through it if they're strong enough. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, they're both extremely good. The resurrection, I think, is more contextual. It was really good for DJM because it was on his knight.
Yeah.
If it was on his archer, for example, it would be a lot worse because you could just make the game all about killing his archer as many times as it takes and nullifying that. The fact that it was on his knight was extremely impactful.
Yeah,
but whereas Second Life is amazing on every hero.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and also the thing about Resurrection that I like a lot, not having used any because I have very few, none that were of level, but it's the idea that you don't have to use it on that first turn. You could pass turns quickly so that you set up kind of the resurrect then heal combo there.
Right.
In the heat of a battle, is that super easy? I think it's a lot easier just to say, but you see where I'm going with that.
No, I understand. You have more control of resurrection. You can hypothetically play with the time bars and time it out a little bit better. Mm-hmm. But also, again, I think it being an active move that you have to, cast successfully. I think that's why putting the ward on it is fine. I don't see any problem with that in terms of it being overpowered. Because I feel like it is that much more hard. It is that, what is the word I'm looking for? That is that much harder to successfully, cast it. All right, we're going to talk about traits more, and then I'm already screwing up the agenda. We have to talk about one kind of final thing there's a couple more things we have to talk about with the macro picture on PvP here. And I don't want to be too rough because the team has defended this very much. Winston specifically has stood up for this. But
I took that as a joke for the record. Otherwise, I would be pretty appalled. But
we need to talk about. We need to talk about Berserker, because as the Berserker stands right now, like we saw in the tournament in the final top 8, no one used a Berserker. In the tournament, one team had a Berserker, and it was almost as a joke entry by Sashay. I think.
Well, I think he meant it, but.
But it lost immediately. It lost immediately to everyone.
He
went 2-0 or 0-2 immediately and was out. So I think the Berserker, right now, I think is very underpowered. It can't really compete at a competitive level. It's going to lose out almost always. I haven't seen many scenarios where the Berserker is getting the win. Or actually, I shouldn't say that, because just you did talk about the few scenarios where the Berserker would be beneficial, but also I don't even think
hypothetical scenarios.
hypothetical you created. I don't think the Berserker could ever make it to that point. You know what I mean?
I mean, Franz and SI tried to do it on the content creator weekend, and I think they did because they were at an extreme advantage for experience in heroes chosen, not because it was at all relevant. But yes, if you make the game last forever, then the scaling mushroom up to 30% is extremely impactful, because you can use basic attacks that do damage similar to a skill and spend 0 mana. And yeah, in the games where everybody runs out of mana and you're basic attacking, that's your guy.
Yeah,
right.
I did win my match that weekend. I switched off of that team comp due to bullying by Just and his co-host.
Yes,
so Worm.
Well deserved.
It did work, but it wasn't much fun to use either. Like, I wasn't enjoying that. I wasn't sitting there like, haha, making the game last even longer. Hope you have a lot of time on your hands. Like, it wasn't fun, but it worked.
No, it was awful. But yeah, I just don't think it doesn't have a place in this competitive landscape. It's more of a casual class right now, which is fine when we have a lot of classes. If we have 20 classes and there's just a wild environment where people just want to play Berserkers, it's fine as is. But on a competitive environment, I mean, it didn't do anything. And I said this, I forget, at some point during the weekend. I think every class has an overall power level. I think the Berserker's problem is twofold: that its overall power level is low, but specifically the things that it's good at don't matter in this environment, and the thing that it's bad at really, really, really matter. Meaning the little bit more attack, significant more attack. The bonus to attack does not really matter that much. There are all these ways what we've been talking about. We see all these ways to Giant Slayer one-shot kill, and just do all these ways to kind of get the kill, find the window, get a guy dead, and whatever. You don't need a Berserker for that. And if you do, it's probably not going to hit the guy you want it to anyway. So the attack doesn't matter, and the fact that you lose control of it matters so much.
Right.
If you're blitzing, you need complete control, you need precision, and you need to be able to deal a lot of damage at will to the right target, and it can't do that. So it's
we saw that with Malatru. Is that what we're going with? Malatru?
I was going with Mal.
We saw Mal's team, who I think made it to the Final Four, right? He made it to the semis.
Yes.
Yeah. Mal's team, I think 2 archers and I think it was a knight or maybe a warrior in the front. But his 2 archers had crazy high speed, crazy high agility. It was just all out, do attack, but it was pointed and sharp, and he could do 2 repeating shots at someone and kill them immediately and have that 2 or 3 advantage. And the reason that worked is because it was just pinpoint.
It has to be. And
it just took him out, you know?
You're you're staring at the time bar, you're thinking about, you're threatening a swiftness potion, you're threatening your thing, you're as precise. It's like a scalpel, and you need the scalpel to make that work. Otherwise, a good team is going to stop you. If you run in there with a sledgehammer instead of a scalpel, you will just
and not only
that, not accomplish anything, and probably
your sledgehammer is just swinging wildly and might even hit your own guys.
Well, so I mean, I'm not even dealing with that. Obviously, you just lose the game when you in a close match where it matters if you do 250 damage to your own guy. I'm not even considering that possibility. It's terrible if it was 0%.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It's not competitive in a competitive environment.
The something you said just earlier, and I want you to explain this. Right now, it's a debuff, not a buff.
Berserk is a debuff, not a buff. Yes. Yeah. When you lose control of your guy and gain some attack and gain some speed, it is more detrimental for losing control than it is beneficial to gaining that attack and speed. And that is the core feature of the class. And that's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, you can't win. I mean, I shouldn't say that.
You can, but Yeah, it's one of those things
In
where
most
you
circumstances,
can post a video and say, "See, just like this is one out of 20 times where your berserker just randomly hit everywhere that you wanted it to randomly." And
I
it
know
won.
that's the other thing too. Like, what if it hits? What if you need like one more hit on the middle or the back guy, and it hits the front tank who's at full health? Like, it just
It's you skipped your turn. You skipped your turn.
yeah. I think there's fun to be had, maybe, but it's not going to win in a competitive scene, and that's what we want this game to be. I think they've talked about how they want this to be an esport. They want it to be competitive, and as it stands right now, the Berserker can't compete competitively.
Yeah, I mean, Seer is the 5th class out of the others, and
Right.
it's close, but it's not good enough in an archer meta. Berserker is like just we can just do dot down the screen and then Berserker after Seer. It's that much worse.
Yeah.
And Seer
Exactly.
is not particularly playable.
All right, you guys get all that out?
Yes.
Now, how about a good podcast topic here? How would you make it better? Small changes. What would you do
Well, so
to make it more competitive?
I want to throw this out there, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. Just can this work? I don't know if it can. I don't know if there is an option here. Not changing anything except when
That probably won't work.
Okay,
I don't think.
Except when Berserker goes berserk, we increase the speed and increase the damage output to higher amounts. When does it become too much? And is that enough? Is just increasing that damage output and increasing that speed?
I mean, theoretically, that could be enough. I mean, I'm not going to be hyperbolic and say it doesn't matter. At a certain point, it definitely matters.
Right. If it's too much.
Then, yeah. But yeah, it's not close. I mean, the risk reward, you take so much risk losing control of one of your guys where you're likely to skip your turn because he doesn't do the thing you need him to do. And the reward is just not there. So you have to either up the reward or lessen the risk to make that equation worthwhile. And right now it's just like, why would I take this risk and get such a small reward, if not, a negative?
Yeah, okay, all right. Let me rephrase that. Maybe keep the damage and speed levels where they're at. Get back to your turn. It gets back to your turn. Your abilities are taken away from you. However, you can choose a target of where your attack goes.
I wouldn't do that.
What do you mean? So you get the berserk, but
so you're in berserk. You're in berserk.
You can only do basic attacks,
but berserk's basic attack.
Right.
And you can choose one of the 3 targets.
I mean, that's a fundamental, that's a big shakeup fundamentally.
It's really messing with the berserk.
Within the core way that it's been designed, which I did like, and I do like conceptually. It just, until I play it, I like it a lot until I play it. And then I if I ever rely on it for anything, I don't like it anymore. So that's kind of the conceptual, the key thing of the class is that you can't control it. And everything we're going to say positive about this PvP environment relates to the time bar, control,
we've talked about strategy, choices. That's what we've been talking about the entire time.
You're both playing extremely powerful teams with equipment and skills and blah, blah, blah. And you need to be a pinpoint strategy in order to win and hope it's better than your opponent. And all that goes out the window.
Yeah.
With that class.
I think one other thing I want to suggest that somebody suggested, this wasn't my idea. This was an AMA question like weeks, maybe months ago. Someone said, why don't we add a stat-based check to going berserk, which I really like.
That was me.
Was that you? Was that you?
Yeah. AMA question.
It was great. Wait,
was it? I don't understand.
Was it an alt?
No, it was me.
All right. So basically,
I hope I didn't just give up my.
I
know. Yeah. So basically, like, you go berserk, but there's like an intelligence-based check that maybe you can, instead of the 10% to hit your people, it goes to 0% if your intelligence check hits it.
Yeah, essentially just not a static amount that you can. And I think that was more impactful when it was 20%. Right. When I said this, 10%, I think it's fine where it is, but it was essentially give another stat of importance to Berserker. And You know,
In which
your
no one would.
wisdom is high enough or something.
That's just not the issue. It can be 0%, in my opinion, does not change at all.
Okay. Well, there's the answer.
I did not even account for the 10% with any of that.
Yeah, no, again, I think it's in a
Yeah.
fine place now. Like, it's not a big deal to 10%. 20 felt more impactful. About 10% more impactful, I'd say.
Oh.
All right. I think
Double-checking.
I think we've railed on Berserker enough.
Well,
That was the
Get used-
worst segment we've
get
ever
used
had
to
in this
it, boys.
podcast. You guys are brutal. The two of you just screamed at each other for 10
well,
minutes.
Winston just told us to get good.
I mean, yeah,
Last weekend on completely
he
valid criticism.
ignited.
we're just gonna have to
Winston
keep
ignited the nerd
You,
rage.
you guys are doing it again.
I mean,
I'm
don't know
this
what to
guy
tell you.
kid.
Yeah, he ignited the nerd rage. All right. Let's go. Do you want to do the trait stuff? You want to get to the traits?
Sure. Hold on, let me just check. We are at 71 subscribers for DFK League.
Ooh,
One
okay.
more needed to unlock a second giveaway, regular Atonement Crystal.
Why don't you send that link out again into the chat?
I don't want to make it too easy for them. I'm not in
my
love
God.
with the idea of giving away this crystal.
Okay. Very fine.
Kind of snap decision.
I wouldn't. That seems a
What are they
I
going
do-
for? What are they going for?
bit a lot, like 400 jewel or 300.
No.
Is it up to 400 now?
Or
I'm
300
half the reason for
something.
that. I bought like 80 of them.
He's
back
the monopoly.
recently. I've been sweeping the floor every so often. Always under 200 though. So if it's at 400, I'm happy.
I haven't checked in a while. It was 300 something
Yeah.
last time I checked. It's 340, 45 is the lowest ask.
I'm happy. That's all right. We're making that 80. He needs 80 subs for that.
See,
Just rug pull a little bit.
Code Green with a good comment here.
It's true.
There's
We
so
can
many
agree on that.
options. I think, man, imagine an advanced class that could like help the Berserker. That would be so cool. Like the Paladin has like battle guidance or some bullshit like that, and it's like he can direct the Berserker to where to attack.
Turn
When
your
he's- when he's
berserker into a warrior.
Yeah, something like
You
that.
could just play a warrior, Maddie.
Yeah, maybe you're right, but like I don't know, like some combination of Berserker and like when the Berserker goes berserk, another class gets some sort of bonus would be very cool, I think, and maybe make it worth it. You know, I don't know. Let's move on. Yeah, let's talk. We're done talking about Berserker. All right, so what we're looking at right now, what we went through these a couple weeks ago, and this is how we ranked them, right?
Yes, this is our previous pod.
Okay.
Where's actives? Okay, got you.
Stun, Resurrection, second win, Speed. Oh boy, Speed's gonna take a hit there, I think. Death Mark, Blinding Winds, Daze, Poison Blade, Heal, Exhaust, Critical Aim, Hardened Shield, Iron Skin, Explosion, Cleanse. Okay, all right. What do we? How do we want to go through this? Do you want to go through the tiers, or do we want to go through the like the skills? Like start from.
I don't think we need to touch on everything.
Okay.
You know,
We need more tiers.
I'd say just call them out.
need more
So,
tiers.
do you want to go right into that? Should
we don't need more S's. I'll tell you that much.
we have two, and I think they're both valid.
No. I think he means
I'm saying
double
we don't need
S, triple
double
S.
S tier. That's not the tier we need. It's double S.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Triple S.
So we're
etc.
gonna go add row below here,
Oh, it does exist. Okay, good. Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's
do
not
that.
like let me click it.
We need an F. We might have an F.
Oh,
There you go.
Maybe.
Excellent.
let me
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Should we do that right away and talk about it?
Let's do it.
All right. Why don't we grab
Right.
the one we want to grab and bring it
Well, let's
all the way down? There we
I was
go.
doing a thing, France. We could have
Oh,
done
all
F
right,
and
all
then
right.
nothing and then
Yeah. Do what we were going to talk about. Yeah. F, then no trait at all,
and then
Yeah.
explosion tier.
and then explosion. Yeah.
And I personally prefer literally no trade at all because that way you can't accidentally click the explosion button and hurt yourself in your chances of winning.
Yeah, I think this is. I like this.
Explosion is bad.
Yes.
There you have it. On to the next.
I mean,
it's bad.
Yeah, you're right.
It costs you 1.8 turns. You take all of the risk of channeling for 800 initiative, and then it does an extremely unimpactful attack. And why would you
I
do
will
that to
say
yourself?
it did win me a match this weekend against Dragonfly Tales.
Right, but
I
Not
had
because
a,
not
explain
because
why.
it was explosion.
Explain why. Yeah.
So I had a Shroud Seer, or nope, that's not right.
Archer.
I had a Shroud Archer who was at 25 HP. Dragonfly Tales was trying to kill it off. I channeled into Explosion, and his attack, which I believe was also an explosion, missed because of the channel that I was able to.
That's where he went wrong. He would have been better off
Wow.
with literally no trait there, and it probably would have been better for him.
Little basic attack.
Basic attack. He would have gotten 2 basic attacks in. I mean,
That's a good
yeah.
point.
Probably would have.
Yeah.
I think we got the tier list right. Down
Literally,
there.
no trait would have been better for him there.
He wouldn't have been tempted to hit the button and try to like big brain it, and then be disappointed because that is the experience with that skill.
So hold on.
If you can choose one change with Explosion, would you take away or reduce the channel, or would you increase the attack?
Either. I mean, it could be. It would be very cool to have a Hail Mary type thing, which leaves you vulnerable. All the problems with channeling 800 initiative would still be there, but then it does something. That'd be great.
I think for the risk of channeling, the damage should be
double
times 3. Yeah, I mean,
maybe times 3. I mean, we could start with double and see how that looks, but it's now it's just laughable. That was our esports moment. Was me me sarcastically screaming in delight about the 66-point explosion.
Yeah, like it does such a weak amount of damage for the channel right now that, like I said, honestly, basic attacks
are almost always better.
Almost always better, and you have control over not control. I mean, it's AOE, but still. There is no scenario where I want to use Explosion. I think almost always doing 2 basic attacks is going to be more efficient, unless it's a unique scenario where my Archer needs to dodge an incoming attack and he needs the channel to trigger his Shroud. Like that is like Franz, like that is so like niche, like I mean,
you were out of mana, to be clear, so you could not use Sharpshooter, which you would want to do.
That's correct. You
were out of mana, so you had the trait available, and that was the most best thing we can say about Explosion.
Yeah, and also like I understand that me saying one positive thing about Explosion essentially makes me the captain of the Explosion team. But that's not a position I want. So it was one positive thing. Just to
never worth the damage.
To move us along a little bit here, Bolon hard disagrees with the cleanse rating. I also think that it needs to be bumped up a little bit. Well, how do you guys feel about cleanse?
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're never ever happy to have to cleanse yourself.
Yeah.
You want to do anything else, it's break glass in case of emergency. You skip your entire turn, and if you have one status effect you need to clear, then it's fine, and it can be the best thing to do with your turn, but you hate it. I hate it every time I use cleanse. I'd rather do anything else, but sometimes you have to. That seems like a D to me.
I feel like
there is nothing that you need it so bad that you're going to lose without it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think. I mean, we could construct a scenario, but there's really nothing like that.
I think it's fine where it is.
Having a poison on you is.
Well, I mean, yeah, you have anti-poison.
Yeah,
right.
But potion.
Maybe
potion.
That still sounds like a D to me. I mean, if we have to think really hard to construct a scenario where it's worth using at all as opposed to anything else, I think it's a D.
And also, if you're worried about,
but it's not useless. It's not explosion tier. Let me be clear.
Right.
And I don't think it's F tier. I don't think it belongs below the other worst traits such as Iron Skin.
Well, anyway, sorry.
I don't think so. I think they're.
I think it's fine where it is. I also think Iron Skin's fine where it is. I think both of them are fine where they are. But
yeah, I think that's the definition of D, is that you never want to do it, but sometimes it is the best move. So you're happy in that situation that you have it available.
I also think if you're worried about status effects, like if that's something that stresses you out, then you need a stall comp with a priest and a knight, and like they have plenty of ways to deal with status effects. You know what I mean? Like if that's something that stresses you out when you're going into battle, then do a control comp, have a priest, have freedom. Then your mind's going to be at ease. You know, you shouldn't ever depend on cleanse for to help your team like that. You know?
Yeah. So where I was originally trying to go with that was the idea of the end game. We found ourselves in a lot of these basic attack end games, and having a cleanse there, if there was a poison applied, you know,
the game.
That I think that
There
it showed a little value. You know, you never want to cleanse. You'd rather just not have to do it.
I think it should give back like 200 to 300 initiative personally.
If
it's such a minor effect that I think that it's completely reasonable, and that would push it up to C to me.
I would like that a lot.
Yeah, I think it's.
I agree.
Small effect compared to Purify, compared to Unstoppable, which is available in a number of ways. That I think it's such a small effect that costing an entire turn is what makes it bad and what makes me never want to do it. But it is very nice. It'll definitely decide some games as is. But I think if it gained you 250 initiative like a potion, it'd be great.
Yeah, I agree.
Not great, but I think I'd be C or B. Yeah.
I moved it up above Iron Skin, and I think
I agree with that.
Fair point here. It's a trait that hard counters a trait that you'll have rated at a B. I don't love they went y'all there, but you know it is what it is. It completely nullifies the B-rated trait. How is it a D? I mean, the B-rated trait also
waste of a turn. It's a waste of a turn.
I don't really see you don't want to be reactionary.
Those blinding winds and stuff like that, they do damage and they put the status effect. They're so much more valuable than just the way to count. Like
it's because there are no wrong threats. There are wrong answers. Therefore, if you have a poison blade, you can always use it and make them answer it. Whereas if they never poison you and you have this cleanse, it's just wasted. It's a threat versus an answer. You want the threat is going to be inherently more valuable.
As I said, a great opportunity cost.
Opportunity cost. You never want to use your turn doing this.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Iron Skin, I will say, Iron Skin on a tank in the front, and it's the end of the battle where we're just in basic attacks. I don't hate it. It's not the end of the world, you know.
I like it better in hunts than I don't think it's not really what you want in PvP. But
which one is this?
Iron Skin. Like in the right scenario, sure. Yeah, exactly. You know.
Again, I liked it end game when I knew that it was going to be down to basic attacks. It's worth using a turn on.
Or if you
early game, it's not worth using a turn.
No, you can preempt it once you see you're about to go long. I mean, 90 ticks is a long time. Like once you see it's going to be a battle of attrition, you can pop that Iron Skin and it's perfectly fine. It's better than basic attacking because you don't have like a better thing to do.
Exactly.
And it lasts long enough for it to be good.
Yeah. Whereas Hardened Shield, and a lot of times Hardened Shield is worse. I think you really need a specific like strategy. The way you want Hardened Shield is when you have a guy that you know is going to do a thing like Raph's Murder Archer maybe, or something like that, where it's like it's sitting there. They know what it's going to do. There is a target on its forehead.
What a bummer though for like your whoever's susceptible. Either it's the healer or the DPS using Hardened Shield. Like, that doesn't.
But
feel
like
good. You know, like
if it's not super crucial to your strategy and you cast our Hardened Shield, they're just never attack you. They're not going to attack you.
Yeah, but also, I don't know. It just seems to suck on somebody who already has weak defense.
It mostly sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you could definitely put Hardened Skin in D.
I was gonna say I think we should drop Hardened Shield down.
That's what I mean. The best thing about Hardened Shield is it might mutate into Second Wind, but I don't think that's that great either.
Again, that's also very niche, like certain situations.
We're gonna need to revisit that one for sure.
Heroes that have Hardened Shield and Last Stand, like it's hard to get a hero like that.
What?
Like, well, what was
no. I said the best thing about having Hardened Shield is that it can mutate into Second Wind because it's A4.
Second Wind.
Right.
Well, yeah, a hero with both those.
When you kill your hero with Hardened Skin, I mean, you don't want to play it.
All right. I see what you mean. Yeah, you meant for dark something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, which
anything
means
else?
It's not very good.
Any other traits we want to move around?
I think Exhaust is better.
I
high reward.
disagree.
I disagree with your disagree, sir.
I think the 50% on exhaust makes it so rough to use.
It's not that rough. It gives you pretty decent damage.
Man,
If it didn't give you damage, it would be a Hail Mary that you would almost never use, like Final Blow or something. But it gives you perfectly fine attack on any of the positions. It's good for the same reason that Blinding Winds and Poison Blade are both good, and I think it belongs with them.
No, I say it's fine where it is. I'd much rather use Blinding Winds or Poison Blade than exhaust.
I don't know how to respond to that, because when you land exhaust, I don't know if you've ever had the displeasure.
When you land exhaust,
brutal.
It's
you
brutal.
do it to a guy who just went, and then they lose like 20 ticks basically on their time bar where they're doing nothing.
So rough. That is such a rough chance that I don't know if I'm willing to
get an attack. You get an attack with it. I don't know what to tell you. If it didn't give the attack, it would be rough. But
friends, break the tie. Where are we moving exhaust?
I couldn't hear any of that.
What do you mean?
I'm having a little issue over here with the headphones, but I'm trying to get it fixed.
So you
exhaust?
It's higher risk, high reward. It's a higher risk, higher reward version of Daze, which is excellent. But the reward is so high that it's worth the risk, and it gives you basically a basic attack. So I don't see. I think it's unimpeachably good.
I think the risk is too much.
I think you used it once and missed, and now you're mad. So
maybe, but I don't think the risk is worth it. I think it's fine where it is.
No.
We'll move it ahead of heel.
It's not my
Next
podcast.
One.
So.
You're not. Wait, you don't want to move it up, friends?
I moved it ahead of heel.
Right, but do you
guys
want to
seem undecided?
No, France.
I don't accept.
I want your opinion, friends. I want your opinion.
I want to move on to Daze because I think Daze needs to move.
No, I want your opinion on exhaust right now.
I think that it's not a move I enjoy having. When it hits, it's the best move in the game. When it doesn't, it makes me very angry.
That sounds amazing.
Well, but it's 50-50. So to say when it hits, it's great. When it doesn't, it sucks. I mean, it's 50-50.
It doesn't suck. It sucks just as bad as a Daze or a Poison Wind. It's fine.
No, those hit 80% of the time, though.
But when they miss, it doesn't like do anything. It's not that
I have
bad.
a hot take. I think that Daze and Stun should be 100% hit. Not 100% hit, 100% application. Stun and Daze.
I don't know. Daze,
I don't
sure.
know about that. No, I don't think so on Daze either. That really hurts the channels.
Yeah.
That's your which I thought you wanted to buff them, friends.
I do think they need to do more damage, but I just the idea of missing with a Daze when it hits, like not to say all right, I guess 100%. I want the language to read 100%. I understand status effect resistant, obviously from misses, things like that. I don't know why we needed to move it down from 80% to 70%. I don't know.
I think it's fun. I think it needs to be a little more risky.
Yeah.
I think all of these are great Daze. I think consider them very similar. Daze, Poison Blade, Blinding Winds just depends on the level of how screwed they are if it hits. And Exhaustion, they're completely screwed. So I'm in. But Daze is situational. A lot of times it's not worth doing. I mean, a lot of times it's not. If you need to set up something on the time bar, they need to be channeling. I mean, it's excellent. Sometimes it decided the tournament game 3, I think. So yeah, it was the perfect thing. They were trying to sharpshooter against a guy with Daze, and he brought out that mallet and popped him on the head, and that was the game. But I mean, Exhaust would have done the same thing.
I mean, again, we get to the 50%.
Let me caveat, and then maybe I'll concede this because I think final thing on exhaust, because I know Franz wants us to move on from this, but
I think it's an important distinction.
That is not the style of play I like doing. I like being in control, knowing what's going to happen, knowing what strategies I need to do to like win the game. Something Wowie always says, I'm kind of a, classic like control like freak or whatever. Like that's like what I like. That's why exhaust is not something for the style I want to play. Exhaust is not my favorite. Now, that being said,
it is high risk. I will grant you that, but I don't think it's that
you're
high.
right. Maybe you're right. The reward for it is so intense because exhausting your opponent randomly like is a game changer. Like you could win the entire match on that. So if we want to move it up to be I understand that, and I just know personally for me, I rank it lower personally, but that might not be where it deserves to be in general. That's all I'll say.
Yep.
Franz has the control here. It's his final call.
Are we still on exhaust?
Yes.
Guys, I stopped paying attention. I'm going to be honest with you.
What are you doing? What's going on?
There was a pun there.
There's no sports
It was
game
exhausting.
I'm a little. Yeah, you're right. I missed that one.
Critical aim and heal, I think,
I'm going to
are
move
fine.
it up to B. The end of
Critical aim and
Yeah.
heal. I never hate to see critical aim or heal, but they never really gets me that excited. I think Deathmark is the same personally.
I think critical aim on somebody.
And speed.
Well, speed we'll talk about, but critical aim on somebody who doesn't have range, I think I would rank higher. But in general, that's where I'd put it. You know, like on a warrior having
on a bubble priest, critical aim is terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. I agree. But giving somebody like a knight or a warrior who doesn't have range one move that with range, even if it's a minimal damage, you know, critical aim could be very useful there. But in general, I think it's fine where it's ranked right now. You know,
I think Deathmark isn't significantly better personally.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So these ones in the B, I think Days needs to be
I
number
would shift
one.
around the B's a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree there.
I think Deathmark the last.
Deathmark's good. I'm never mad to see it, but it's not that great.
Yeah, still in that range, but the last one in that range. Yeah.
I'm so much more excited to have exhaust and find a window to where if it doesn't work, it doesn't kill me. If it does work, I win the game. That sounds like an amazing trait. That's what I'm thinking about with exhaust. Deathmark is just like incremental value.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the big distinction I'd make between Deathmark, Blinding Winds, and Poison Blade is that two of those three make your opponent respond. Yes. And Deathmark, I mean, it has its value with, especially if you're setting up a repeating shot or something like that.
Yeah.
If you're going for a kill, you know, having it do more damage, always a good thing. Yep. But it doesn't elicit a response or require a response.
Right. Yep. I think Blinding Winds is much better than Poison Blade. I think Blinding Winds is excellent. I would maybe
tell me why.
Because Blind, if they don't fix it, if they don't, cast a spell on it, the effects it has are much more effective, I think, than the Poison Blade. Because
I don't agree.
They're not gonna be able to hit you with a lot of their especially a class like Warrior, where some of the accuracy is lower for their big moves. You know,
I would say that I agree, just based on the fact that Poison Blade, you can let it go 2-3 turns and then deal with it. Yes, right. If you let it go a little longer than that, it can become a problem quickly. But Blinding Winds always does feel like something you have to address on the very next turn.
Yes.
Do you have to? Maybe not, but like a miss could kill you.
I think I would put it slightly ahead of Poison Blade, but I really don't differentiate between the two very much.
They're close.
They're close. Yeah.
Speed. There was some speed hate.
I think speed should be dropped down one, if not two.
I think I like having it. I think it's a useful tool. I think there's lots of times where you don't really want to take an action, and then you really want to have speed because you'll get that value. But it's not exciting. It's not an A.
How many times you're trying to build something up in the beginning? You need to do a speed. You need to do an X. You need to do a Z.
You don't think about it like that.
You do all those things, your opponent has killed you. I think.
No, you don't. You don't think about it like that. You don't say, "I have a speed. I guess I'll start with it turn 1." You find a window where it doesn't matter if you go now or in about 400 initiative, and then you use it then, and then you bank that speed for 30
all right. But again, like, what if the battle? I mean, that is so.
Those windows come up. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you don't even need it.
That's why I don't think that's not an A, because I think it could hurt you.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not. I thought it was kind of a must cast turn 1. Like if you have a speed, you cast it on turn 1 and then you gain benefit. It's not like that. And I think people are looking at it like that. Like, I have a speed. Should I cast it? Is it worth it here? Right. And like just in general, like on turn 1 of the game. And that's not how you look at it. You find a spot. It's about 400 initiative, basically, because you get back 500 and then you gain that speed. So you find a spot where you don't need that 400 initiative, and you actually want to go a little bit later to counter something that they're about to do, and then you bank free speed, and it's a significant amount.
I agree with that, but also I feel like that is limited to your heal / support and your DPS. Your tank almost never is going to want to do that. I feel like your tank is always going to want to either like
when he doesn't want to go, he definitely wants to speed. There's no downside.
Like also, I feel like he wants to be doing defensive moves and or whatever basic attack he's doing, like and just hold the line. Like I feel like it only applies to certain classes that like really works well with them.
I think very often your tank has interception up, has
but if you speed up the interception,
it's
not going to last long.
That's true. Okay,
it's vigilance now. Oh, hold on, it's tick based now.
Oh, it is. Okay, it is. Yeah. It's not turn.
Not turn.
Yeah, that was it was a change. I think 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I'm sorry. Then fine. But
there's a lot of times you don't really have anything to do with your tank. You're just like, I guess I'll basic attack. And speed is so much better than I guess I'll just basic attack.
Right.
I think it's a C tier. I'd rather have Death Mark, which I'm not super impressed with, but I think it's basically about like a heal. Like sometimes I'll want it, sometimes I won't. It's not gonna really affect me.
I think either absolute last B or top C is where I'm putting this guy. Which is such a hard difference from what we originally thought. Franz, you didn't get to talk on this. Talk a little about what do you think about speed?
Yeah, no, I want to leave it where it is.
Are you serious? Why?
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe I'm a little biased because I have speed on a lot of my archers and not a lot of other heroes. So I'm looking at it through an archer lens. But to me, right now, the most popular strategy for an archer in the game is the repeating shot tree, which I hate so much. And I really hope that they make the other trees a little better. But the exhaust on the repeating shot, going speed, rapid shot, repeating shot, I think is the best 3-turn combo that you can have right now because that exhaust is shortened dramatically, and you can get a kill out of it. So it's a kill move that limits the downside of that kill move. Again, I'm looking at it through a very focused, specific
that doesn't seem
lens.
like an A tier, but that seems like a good use.
What about anybody else? What about any other class?
Yeah.
I mean, I still think it has value. Just the idea of going more than your opponent and having more chances to kind of change the game within a short window has value. I would take that more. So, Josh, you're saying C? You think that speed is on line with
top of C? Yeah.
I think so too.
Good to have, but not too exciting. There are definitely some heroes that really want it.
I'd rather have Death Mark than speed.
How about this?
I'm fine with that.
I mean,
I like it. It's all about the time bar. It's basically finding a window to do it. It's not the value in and of itself of just casting the speed. It's the delaying yourself by 400 doesn't hurt me, so I'm going to do it.
I'd rather have Death Mark than speed.
Sometimes, but not always. I think it's around that. I think it's comparable. Speed. I think it's comparable to Death Mark.
All right.
Power level.
All right. Let's take a look at these top ones because we have a whole nother fucking thing we have to do in 15 minutes. So,
oh shit.
Let's scroll up.
What are we talking about? What's the other thing?
Passives.
No, you want to save passives?
We
must be
doing
quick.
Yeah. Let's go through these and see where we're at with time.
Well,
I think.
I don't know about.
Man, there's a lot to discuss here. Yeah, we'll do it another time.
I don't know about second wind.
Yeah,
I think we're fine on S. I think we all agree stun and resurrection are amazing. They're really just impeachably good. Yeah. Second wind, it's really situational, man.
Wait, we can't move. If you move second wind, then we have to readjust B completely.
No, we don't.
You just have no A? Is that what you want?
Yeah. That means that stun and resurrection are a full tier above their competition, and I think that's true.
Well, here's what I'll say. I think second wind.
It can be great.
It's fine where it's at. Even if your hero has low health, it is still a group heal that is usually inaccessible to whatever class you have, archer or what have you. That's kind of low HP. I think it's still very powerful.
I think it's very dependent on who has the second wind.
Because obviously,
there's a lot of heroes that can have second wind and
Right.
it's useless,
Like
which is a problem.
tier.
That's a problem for an A tier. To me, I think it's B. I think it's situational. I'd rather have exhaust on a lot of heroes.
How about this in defensive second
Not
wind?
all of
And
them.
I agree with what you're saying about it not being good on like a priestess or heroes like that. But at the end of the day, it is a 50% heal to yourself, correct?
It has
So it is.
upside.
So
Its ceiling
there
is very
there
high.
is some
Its
redeeming qualities
its
there.
floor is very low. It can be
Yeah.
brutal. Like,
I don't know. I like where it is.
I like I like a little separation for stun and resurrection. I think those are the creme de la creme.
I add an extra tier down here called
Hey.
simply not playing. So
Just not playing the game is better
yeah,
than
just not playing the game.
using explosion. I agree with that. That's better than having an explosion.
A little update on our giveaway.
Oh yeah.
I think somebody's fucking with me because it was at 71. I said that we needed to go to 80 instead of 75 to get to the next one. And immediately there were 9 new subscribers to get us just to 80. So
Change 85
wasn't me.
See what happens.
cheers if anyone did do that. We will be doing both giveaways.
I want to win the second one. I'm entering.
Hey, listen, I try to enter every time. He always disqualifies me.
He's not part of the podcast. He can enter.
That's right, Maddie.
All right,
yes.
Bolon said he used 2 accounts to subscribe.
Did he? Of course he did.
I was joking about my emails. I did not do that.
No, I'm sure.
I believe you.
We got 20 people 22 watching right now. I'm sure we got those numbers that could.
It was just how quickly it jumped up 9. But anyway, all right. So for the hashtag, we're going with, what do we think? PvP is here.
No. Hashtag DFK Elite. We just.
Okay, fine. Hashtag DFK Elite. PvP is here though. So don't start it yet. Okay.
Hashtag DFK Elite.
I was going to do a dark summon too, a bubble priest, but
oh shit, I'm
just going to do it on my own. So the last 2 legendary bubble priests I tried to make both came out as mythic summoners. Can I be mad? They're mythic,
it's great,
but it's not helpful right now. One of them was supposed to be. So I'm specifically trying to make a bubble priest that has 2 attacks as active abilities for when it gets taunted. Like I don't want like a heal and something like that, or like a speed in there. So I bought a double days priest off of 9dwarf and had something else good on the other one, and summoner came out.
I mean,
very
mythic
upsetting.
Summoner is still amazing.
Yeah, but like I can't use it right now.
I mean,
should I do it quick? I'll do it quick.
Yeah, let's see it. Come on, everybody wants to see it.
You
got the stone ready? You got the stone ready?
Maybe. Greater insights. I'll buy it quick.
Oh, we're gonna watch this. he hides the numbers.
Greater insight stone.
So yeah, just a reminder: hashtag DFK Elite in the chat. You'll be entered in. I believe the first raffle is going to be for a Giant Slayer uncommon archer with 1 summon, right? 1 summon.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the second one, which I think same hashtag. Or are we gonna change the hashtag? Well, probably same hashtag. Same hashtag for the second one, which is going to be an atonement stone, which are very rare and very expensive right now. So hashtag DFK Elite in the chat if you want in on this. Also, tell your friends to get in, even if they're watching or not.
So yeah, this isn't the perfect combo, but it's again, it's the 3rd try, so like there's less available. But something that you'll like, Jess, explosion.
Explosion. Excellent.
We get that. You can just not play the game instead of play the hero. That sounds pretty good.
No, I am hoping that stays on though, because I think that this was sufficient bullying, and Bolin was here throughout the whole pod.
Oh yeah, they literally have to buff both of these, or we're just never gonna stop.
Well, that and Berserker. Berserker.
Yes,
The
I mean Berserker and Explosion. Those are the two things that
the two of us got so angry at Berserker that Franz wanted to quit the podcast.
At one point I did. So also Summoner sub on the on one of these two, so that would be.
So all right, so the 15 nice. And 20. So what are the bonuses going to be?
So we're getting one on Wiz, one on Intelligence, and I actually specifically was bumping up Intelligence to get it just past Wiz.
Right. Wisdom. Oh, nice. Yeah.
I want that 1 point off the bat. Also, this is a visual bug.
20.
I am
15,
getting.
Jesus.
Yeah, I am getting 1 point of Wisdom. I did check this with Hubert. It's a visual bug. The second, the level 20 bonus starts
should be the second highest. Yeah.
Right. Correct. That's greater insight. That's Wisdom.
Boy, go back up real quick. It's blue Intelligence for both of them, or just one? Oh, just one.
Purple Dex over here.
Blue Dex.
I would love this.
This
green vid is very important to me.
It's very nice. I love a green bit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those weren't the right keys.
Holy shit! I'm so excited. So the secondary for this guy is going to be insane.
What do you mean?
+4 plus what's the greater?
So 21.
25 on top of if it's a
what? How much Wisdom?
It'll be like almost 50. It'll be like 47.
How much Wisdom does your priest have?
He is a priest sub, and it's 40. It's 41 for him.
No, not what I was asking. How much Wisdom does he have?
80 right now at level 19.
Okay. The goal is 81 by level 19. Here we go.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. I hope you do it.
I just hope a priest comes out.
I know. It will be.
Giveaway tool. Looks like we have 15 entries. Hashtag DFK Elite to enter. Have some good prizes tonight. Here we go.
Priest.
Got the priest. Cool hair.
Got it.
Mythic.
Thief
sub is not good.
Intelligence though, got the blue. Look at that Wisdom.
Dex. Got an exhaust and a death mark.
Exhaust.
I'm happy with that.
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
Exhaust I did lose awesome on your priest.
I did lose both foresights though, so that's not spectacular, but that's fine. I will take that. I would take that. The thief sub is really disappointing.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Wait, go to the percentage.
Summoner subclass fell off.
Increase percentage.
31%.
Yeah.
And 88.
88 solid.
The summoner would have been another like 10, 15?
Yeah. I mean, it would have been a 20 base, so yeah.
That's fine. This is just it's going to be level 17.
Amazing hero.
I don't have a bubble priest that's of that level.
This guy could do it. Yeah.
Megas was like a fully
Megas was so intense. Yeah.
Fully stoned wisdom build.
Yep.
I just don't have that, so now I do. Cool. Back to the giveaway tool.
Back to the giveaway. We got a whole bunch of people more entering here.
20 entries. I'm going to click the button in 10 more seconds. So get in now.
10 seconds. Get in, everybody.
And we got him up to 80 subs. I'm happy with that.
He's up to 80?
Here we go.
Do I get it if I win, or are you still disqualifying me?
Absolutely not. And neither does Bolon, by the way.
Wag me. What's up, bud?
So that was for the archer. So you just
for the archer. That's a giant slayer, uncommon archer with one summon. That's a good fucking hero.
Let's show it again. Nope. And it's also it does have the crafting match. Archers aren't great blacksmiths, but
whatever. It's got blue.
This one right here. So, nope, that's not it. That's the
you're not showing
giant slayer one I just bought
currently. Yeah.
Okay, well, it was the wrong hero anyway. So,
also, quick shout out while you're doing stuff. Worm and Emerson are going to go live at 10:30, which is like right now ish, and I believe they're going to have Mega on. the tournament winner. So everybody go check out Worm, Sir Worm, and Emerson in What in the DFK Is This. They go live in a little bit.
All right, now this is for a regular
This is
atonement
for a
stone.
regular atonement stone, which are fucking rare. I can't believe guys. I can't believe he's giving this away. I really can't believe he's giving this away.
Can't believe it. Make
If
sure you
it's-
use it on good hero though, not
if
one that you
it's
can
me,
eventually throw
I'm
in the
keeping
pit.
it.
You cannot not give it to me. Oh.
Yes!
Yes, I want it. Yes, you have to give it to me. You have to give it to me. You can't not give it to me. No, I said you can't not give it to me.
That doesn't mean
You
I
have
can say
to.
A lot of things.
You
that
have
doesn't make
to.
it True.
You have to give it to me.
And we're drawing again.
God damn it.
Friends,
It's for the viewers, Maddie. I gave you a Scally's eye to use this weekend. Is that not enough? Is it never enough,
Chris
Maddie?
Smith.
Is it never enough?
Chris
Congratulations to Chris Smith.
Chris Smith. God damn it. God damn it.
I lent you a
win.
damn
I
Scally's
also
eye,
love
a
how
Taos
often I win.
Curio.
I win way too often.
I'm not screaming over you.
That was like
God damn it.
that was like $40, Maddie. What the hell?
I know. What the fuck, dude?
Chris Smith, congrats. DM me. Same with you, Wag me. DM me, and I'll get it to you at some point tonight. Yeah, before I go to bed. So,
All right.
Cool.
Franz, final thoughts on the PvP weekend.
I can't wait for the next class to come out and change everything that we think we know about the meta. I can't wait to have this every day and not just on weekends. I just can't wait.
Just final thoughts on this whole weekend, the tournament you ran, the PvP in general. Final thoughts.
Exceeded my expectations, both the turnout and the gameplay that we got, and yeah, couldn't be happier. I can't wait to have it all available. Wallet owned assets. That's going to be the next step. It's going to be fun. And yeah, let's get competitive. In Jewelers League, I think, is coming out when that comes out.
Yeah,
So
very true.
that'll be something to work towards.
Can't wait for that.
All right. That is very exciting. There was something else I wanted to say before I did the sign off. I forget what it was. Oh, yes. Just thank you so much for joining us. This was awesome.
Sorry, I yelled about Second Life and Berserker.
That's why we brought you on. Not apologize.
And Exhaust.
Where can people find your stuff?
I don't know, man.
Okay. Yeah.
I've said it before. It's the same 25 people watching. They know where to find him. He's everywhere. He was on every single stream. This weekend.
I don't do that part of whatever I'm doing here. I don't influence. That's such a weird word.
We want you to influence.
He's a key opinion leader. Right?
I will do so, and you can find me on Twitter, YouTube.
Oh, is that what that is? That what
can't help you with that.
Yeah.
Is that what that means?
I didn't know
Key
that's
opinion leader.
That's so dumb.
I Googled it
they
because it
had
was
to pay
bothering
you.
me so much.
That is so dumb.
Well, I'm not.
This has been an episode of Bogside Chats. For our guests, it's just crypto, and for friends, my name is Matty Pesk. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will catch you next week.
Love you guys.
Peace.